Hello everyone, this is Shannon from That's So Po, and today I'm doing a review of Your Emergency Contact Has Experienced an Emergency by Chen Chen, which is just the most fantastic poetry collection. I have a review of Chen Chen's previous poetry collection, When I Grow Up, I Want to Be a List of Further Possibilities, so I will link that below. It's also absolutely amazing, but this newest one just really gripped me. I loved all of the poetry in this. I love the way that Chen Chen plays with words. I love the way that he just has so much emotion and commentary on society and on identity and on his own experiences. This is just such fantastic poetry. So if you like poetry that is about social issues, that is about kind of being a gay man, that is about being in love, about family dynamics, all these sorts of things, I think that this collection is going to be so good. So I wanted to go ahead and talk about the things that I noticed in this poetry collection that really worked for me, and also read you some excerpts from these poems, because I think that's the best way to see if a poetry collection is going to work for you. So I want to read you some of those like little clips, little excerpts that I think are fantastic in this collection. So the first thing I want to share with you is just an example of how funny Chen Chen's writing is. I think that his poetry is one of those great examples of how playful you can be with poetry, of how you can play around with words and format and just create this sense of amusement and sort of surreal, ridiculous humor. I think it's amazing. So let me read you a slight excerpt. Your emergency contact has called to quit. Your backup plan has backed away. Your boyfriend has joined a boy band named All Your Former Boyfriends and Sarah McLachlan. In the ugly teapot / uglier luggage section of your local Dillard's, you would like to scream. Another thing that I love about Chen Chen's poetry is just the way he explores his identity as a gay Chinese American man. I think one of the things that was really cool in this collection was the amount of Chinese that was used in the poems. I don't speak Chinese, I don't read Chinese, and so I didn't fully understand what the parts that were written in Chinese were, but it didn't really matter. You still got a lot of the emotion and the feel of what he was saying. So I'm going to read you an example that kind of explores his relationship with identity as a Chinese American man and uses some Chinese characters, and I'll just use the word blank for any of the characters since I don't know how to read them. Never did I imagine you gifting him a blank. Never did I imagine you gifting him a blank, on our blank. Never could I have imagined you standing on our doorstep one cold yet bright February afternoon and saying, blank, then handing me a blank for him. So blank, this blank, so unimaginable for you, my mother, who never imagined my life as a life, not really, not with him, never with a blank. Another thing that I think you could see also in that previous poem is just the way that he talks about his relationship with his family. So his parents, his mom in particular, he has kind of a rocky relationship with, because there is this desire to be close, but also she has really struggled with the idea that he's gay and she doesn't know what to do with it, doesn't approve of it, but they also still are family. So that's explored in a lot of his poems. But another thing that's really explored is his relationship with his partner. There are some really lovely poems in this that are all about love and about just the joy of being with his partner. So I want to read you an excerpt of one of those too. I love you, your Cheez-It stained mouth. I love you, your legs, two furry examples of eternity. I love you, your love of instruction manuals, original packaging, the step by don't throw it out, don't you want to know how it works? I love you, your logic, your try it, your reaching for my hand again in the South Plains Mall, Lubbock, your flirty eyes in this AC oasis of mostly shoe stores. In addition to a lot of those more personal explorations of identity and relationships, this poetry collection also really just had so many poems that were talking about bigger social issues, talking about experiences of being a gay Asian man, but also what's going on in the US. Things like what it's like to be a gay Asian guy in Lubbock, Texas, where he was doing his PhD. Also talking about a lot of events that have happened, like the Pulse shootings or the pandemic and anti-Asian sentiment. And so I love the way that so many of these poems are political and talk out about social issues. So I'll read one that talks about that kind of pandemic and anti-Asian sentiment. It's April. I'm telling my students it's going to be okay. I tweet about a white checkout boy who's handing a receipt to a customer who sees me in line, who demands I step back, wait behind the red X on the supermarket floor. I thought it was my turn, apologize. Then while I'm still waiting, a white man crosses the red, steps up right behind me. The boy says nothing. And I think that more than anything else in the collection, what just really speaks to me is just all of the emotion. There are so many emotions in this collection, from grief, from anger, to just joy and love and all sorts of wonderful things. It really has the full range of emotions, and I love the way that you can feel those emotions in the poems. There's a lot of these, actually quite a few, that are elegies or are dedicated to people who have died, especially queer icons or people who have been involved in different poetry and political movements. And I love that, but also just the joy in the moment. There's so much in here where you can feel how much Chen Chen just feels the world around him and loves it. So I wanted to read you an example of that as well. Ode to my beloveds and brevities and beautiful jorts and beautifuler pug breaths and the best of Sandra Bullock and a slice of watermelon bursting between the teeth of a boy in a bathtub in an unmistakably red hang photograph. And you are back home, and you are my favorite unabridged absurdity, and you and I, and why don't we start in this bed the next big Greater Boston Sandra O fan club? So those are some of the reasons and kind of examples of what I love so much about this poetry collection. This collection has basically skyrocketed to my top favorite, most collection ever. I have reread this and just loved it so much upon reread as well. It's just filled with such wonderful poems that are so beautiful and so playful and just so filled with commentary but also joy. I really love this collection, and if you have not read it, I definitely recommend picking it up if any of the kind of excerpts that I read spoke to you, or if you guys have any poetry collections that you're a fan of that seem a little similar or do similar things, I'd love to hear from you. Just leave me a comment down below.